check, check. Oh, I have it on my iPad already. Okay. I don't need the paper.
Okay, well,
Okay,
already.
sure, thank you.
So you search here. All the details of our search.
Can I have, oh, there we are. Thank you, Vince, that was beautiful. Very tender, the new world, here we are. Good morning, my name is Janet McFarland. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees. Yes, we are the heroes of the church, the job nobody else wants to do. We are glad you are with us this morning at the First Unitarian Church of Oakland, whether it is on Zoom or in the room. We are committed to becoming a community where everyone is welcome, where differences are celebrated. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your journey, we bid you welcome. If you are new here, we invite you to fill out a Newcomer Connect card online. You will find the QR code on that strip, which is in a seat back near you. Or you can go on the website, or you can stop at the welcome table in Venti Hall at coffee hour. Doing this helps us to help you explore what our community offers and find ways to participate. Welcome, everyone.
A number of years ago, I was at a restorative justice conference, and one of the workshop presenters asked us, what was the first thing that we did when we get up in the morning? So people answered, well, I go to the bathroom first, and then I walk my dog and make some coffee. Maybe I kiss my sweetheart good morning. Well, he told us the first thing that you do each morning is that you step on stolen land. But you know, stealing land is a European concept. It's not an indigenous one. And tomorrow is Indigenous Peoples Day, a day that celebrates and honors Indigenous American people and commemorates their history and their culture. This holiday actually began as a counter-celebration to Columbus Day, which honors the Italian explorer Christopher Columbus. We here celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day as an alternative to Columbus Day because of the lasting harm that indigenous tribes have suffered because of Christopher Columbus's contributions to the European colonization of the Americas. And I think we all know that people all over the world today continue to struggle to claim their sacred lands. We who are here in Oakland acknowledge the land and the people of this land, the Lisjan Ohlone peoples, who have an ancestral relationship with this land called Hushun. The Ohlone people are still here, as are the spirits of their ancestors. And although we're not the first ones who settled on Ohlone land, we still do benefit from it. May we have the courage and will to heal the broken covenant we inherited and to realize that we are their guests. One of the ways we can help right this wrong is by promoting the Shumei land tax, which gives money to the Sogorea-Te Land Trust to help them buy some of their land back. So there is a slide that shows how you can contact the Sogorea-Te Land Trust. And I encourage you to learn more about the Confederated Villages of the Lisjan Ohlone peoples. And now I would like to invite up a guest for us. He was here last month. This is Manuel De Paz, and he is here to receive the check for the East Bay Sanctuary Covenant, who was our half-plate recipient this last month. We give away half of our collection to local nonprofits that embody our values, and that is certainly the case with the organization you're here to represent, Manuel. So let me get the check, and why don't you step up here and tell us a little bit about how the money can be used.
Thank you, Pastor Laurel. Good morning, everyone. So I think many of you, if you were here, you saw me here on September 14th. I came and introduced who East Bay Sanctuary Covenant is, and I did a little bit of background, history, the different legal services that we provide to the immigrant community, but also the different campaigns that we are involved as well. So in the name of East Bay Sanctuary Covenant, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, representing East Bay Sanctuary Covenant, for the funds that you are giving us. It means a lot to us. But beside the funds, what it means that we are not alone in these difficult times, because we are in this epicenter of the hurricane that we are living politically right now, which are committing a lot of abuses to people, not only to immigrants, but to sometimes US-born citizens who look like me, right? So this means a lot to us, because we know that it's not only the funds, it's also that you are supporting us with your spiritually, with your prayers, and emotionally. You know, like, I'm scared, to go out there, but I know that I'm not alone, and that's what is more important. And as I said, when I came, East Bay Sanctuary Covenant was founded back in 1982 because of the killing of Bishop Romero. And we protected, EBSC used to protect more than 60,000 Central Americans that were fleeing from Central America because of the Cold War. And today, we support and we represent more than 12,000 people, in courts, but as well, we provide them with referral, with public services, with education. So we do a lot of community education and community outreach to educate the community on their rights in case that they have an encounter with immigration, but as well, we do provide a lot of education on workers' rights, because right now, our workers' rights are being abused because people are scared to speak out. But also we have programs like the legal services where we represent thousands of people in immigration courts, right? So we are one of the most famous organizations nationwide that win the cases. And even though that, this time that is very difficult, we are continue doing this kind of work. Also, as I said, we have support services, case workers, and interns to support with needs beyond the client's public benefits, warm referrals to health and mental health services, and populations like LGBT, asylum seekers, Maya Mom, women, family reunification, and accompany minors visas. Also, we have the organizing team, which I am the lead coordinator, supporting immigrants, community members to understand the policies that have impact us. And then we support them to develop their shared stories so that we go, and provide our stories at the local, with the city halls, with, city councils in Berkeley, statewide, and nationwide, so that we can change the policies that are affecting us. So that's part of the work that I do. And lastly, we have the Amplifying Sanctuary Voices. It's a storytelling project that oral history, interviews, arts, and exhibits, public dialogues, and events. So these are some of the programs that, that the funds are gonna go. And we had a presentation, but it was not able to pass it, but also we go out there and provide information. We have created a beautiful poster where we go to events like tabling and we say, I had the right to remain silent, so people can read it. I had the right not to answer you any question. I had the right not to sign anything if I don't have a lawyer, and I had the right to go with the judge. So this is kind of the different types of education that we do to the community. And so this is where the funds are going to go to support us. I want to thank you so much once again. God bless you, and please pray for us, pray for the immigrants, and pray for this administration that they change their hearts. Thank you. And si se puede.
Si se puede.
Thank you.
All right. So you see how this organization embodies our UU values. So the check is for $768.15. So in addition to our money, as Manuel acknowledged, you do have our support, our prayers, our spiritual prowess, and we are often with you in the streets as well. So now let's begin our service officially with our chalice lighting.
Good morning. Please join in the chalice lighting, and if you know the hand actions, the sort of dance we do, please join in. So, we light this chalice, symbol of Unitarian Universalism. May it remind us of the divine spark in all of creation, the power of love to heal what is broken, and to be grateful for life's blessings each day. As we light our peace candle, I have some words from Pema Chodron, a Buddhist teacher. When we are training in the art of peace, we are not given any promises that because of our noble intentions, everything will be okay. In fact, there are no promises of fruition at all. Instead, we are encouraged to simply look deeply at joy and sorrow, at laughing and crying, at hoping and fearing, at all that lives and dies. We learn that what truly heals is gratitude and tenderness.
Say,
Yes, peace is possible. We have words from Toni Morrison for our Black Lives Matter candle. The very serious function of racism is distraction. It keeps you from doing your work. It keeps you explaining over and over again your reasons for being. Together we say, Black Lives Matter. This morning, Reverend Laurel is going to give a sort of theological homily about what holds us together. So in one voice, let us say, let us worship together. And for our gathering song, number 389, Gathered Here.
we will sing this through once in unison, and then Corliss, who's a singer, will help guide us to do it in 3 times as a round. So let's go ahead and learn it first. Sing it in unison. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the secret land of power, Spirit draw near. Why don't you begin? Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the strong land of power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here Thank you. And let's go ahead and turn around and greet those people who are joining us virtually. I know it's bright lights, but we know you are with us, and we are so glad that you can join this community virtually. And for those of you who are here, you can go ahead and mingle for a moment or sit silently if you like. And for those of you who are on Zoom, why don't you chat amongst yourselves? Okay, good people, will you take your seats now, but remain standing, remain risen in body or spirit, because we're going to sing a song together. And remember, you can do some more talking at coffee hour, and then we hope you come to the community forum after that. So the song is one that is near and dear to my heart. There's a member of our congregation, Lila Ibrahim, who, when she and Sherry Prudhomme started Chalice Camp, a UU camp for children over the summer, Lila wanted to have an easy way for the children to understand Unitarian Universalism. And I said, well, you can't have a camp without a song. So I put this song together that we have sung. So those of you who are here have sung it before. But what I'm going to do is sing its call and response. I'll sing It's a Blessing You Were Born, and you sing back, It's a Blessing I Was Born. And then our second time through, we'll do we. It's a blessing we were born, and you come back, it's a blessing we were born. It's a blessing you were born, and it matters what you do, what you know about God is a piece of the truth. Let the beauty you love be what you do, and you don't have to do it alone. Now we'll do it with we. It's a blessing we were born, and it matters what we do, what we know about God is a piece of the truth. Let the beauty we love be what we do, and we don't have to do it alone. And we don't have to do it alone. No, we don't have to do it alone. We don't have to do it alone. And we always end with cha-cha-cha. So please be seated. So this is a reading that many years ago when Reverend Jacqueline Duhart, who was the minister here for a number of years, she and I were at a leadership school, and for one of the worship services that we led, we adapted these words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I'd like to have you participate in this responsive reading.
This is where we are.
Where do we go from here?
Where do we go?
Where do we go from here?
First, we must massively assert our dignity and worth.
Let us massively assert the dignity and worth of all. We must stand up amidst a system that still oppresses and develop an unassailable and majestic sense of values. We must stand up for our majestic values. We must stand up to oppression.
What is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive.
And that love without power is sentimental and anemic. No love without power. We need power with love. We need love with power.
Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice.
Justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love. To build the world we dream of, let us move on with power and love together. And we have another song now. And if you'd please rise again in body or spirit, what I want you to do is come and go with me to that land. Seated. What I'm doing is trying to find a way to connect with the people on Zoom for our embracing meditation. We are committed here at this congregation, and I think in every Unitarian Universalist congregation I've seen, to the way we put it is weave a tapestry of love we call community by taking time in each of our services to share our personal joys and sorrows. We know that there are personal joys and sorrows beyond our walls, but we are a special, beloved community here in downtown Oakland, and it's important that we know what's going on in one another's lives. And so for those of you who are here in the sanctuary after the bell rings, please feel free to speak out loud. It doesn't matter if your voices are speaking at the same time, but speak out loud the names of those who you wish to memorialize or remember or celebrate. And for those of you who are with us virtually, if you want to put into the chat what you would like me to share with the congregation, please do so. An embracing meditation.
Ryan Keaton, Annie Wall, Nathan Poet. Saya Edwards.
Caitlin and Marcus. Celebrating Susan and John. Friends returning. Jack Schaefer. In memory of Barbara Patricia Strahan. Who just died a few months ago. And for the health and well-being of Timon O'Connor. These are contributions from the Joys and Sorrows book that's in the vestry. Keeping Tim Dunning in our prayers as he's recovering from knee surgery and post-surgical complications. Keeping Sherry Larson Beville in our hearts and wishing her safe back surgery on Friday. Wishing Leslie Brandt complete and speedy recovery from cellulitis of the leg. And there are probably other things that may be too tender to speak out loud. But for all of those things that have been expressed, and for those things in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts, let us together say, we hold them in our care. Let's take just a moment of silence to simply be present and breathe together. wonder whether any of you have felt a sense of coming home when you first walked into this beautiful sanctuary, because I know that I did. Is my voice coming okay? Well, I hope that also some of you who join us virtually may feel a similar sense of belonging to this special community. This is a come as you are congregation, a big tent in which all are worthy and all are welcome. If you've ever been in this sanctuary, you know that it is an impressive historic room. It was built back in 1890. We have these high ceilings, these beautiful redwood beams, and they were surrounded by stained glass windows. I imagine that you will have noticed that we do not have a crucifix with an image of Jesus. Instead, above our chancel, there's a stained glass of a sower sowing seeds. And although this liberal faith of Unitarian Universalism does have Christian roots, and although there are members who identify as Christian UUs, we also have many Buddhist UUs, pagan UUs, Jewish UUs, humanist UUs, you get the idea. We have people who identify simply as Unitarian Universalists, because Unitarian Universalism is a pluralistic religion, one that embraces diverse religious beliefs, practices, and traditions. And personally, I think that Unitarian Universalism has the power and the appeal to be a faith for our time. Yet I know that many of us, even some of you who are members and have been members for a long time, may have no idea how to explain what Unitarian Universalism is. Is this true? I think it's true. I mean, I certainly didn't come here because I knew what Unitarian Universalism was. You know, I do know that many come here as spiritual seekers who has actually rejected the faith that they were brought up in, or maybe they didn't have any religious upbringing. And so I think many people know what they don't believe. So do any of you know what you don't believe? But I think that many of you may not be able to articulate what it is that you do believe. So this morning, I want to give you an idea of what Unitarian Universalism is theologically. So pluralism, the diversity of belief and unbelief that we have in our congregations, is what I consider to be both the challenge and the blessing of Unitarian Universalism. Instead of reciting a creed together each Sunday, I believe in God, the Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth. I believe in Jesus Christ, his only Son, our Lord. Instead, as we did this morning, we begin our services here by lighting a chalice and then reciting the words that we are a Unitarian Universalist congregation. May it remind us of the divine spark in all of creation, the power of love to heal what is broken, and to be grateful for life's blessings each day. So UU congregations like this one are not bound together by a creed. Instead, we're bound together by our covenantal ties. By the promises that we make each other with one another. And so we make these promises when we join as a new member of this congregation. 17 years ago, when I was ordained here, I made a covenant with this congregation. And in a way, I think that these covenants, these promises, remind me a little bit of the vows that people make at wedding ceremonies. So when I officiate at a wedding ceremony, when it comes time for the vows, I tell the couple, now these are not ordinary vows. What you make today are extravagant vows that are designed to help you sustain your marriage through good times and bad. So the essence of the covenants that we make in UU congregations is that We promise to support one another's search for truth and meaning. And we promise to be accountable to one another as we strive to be the best people possible. And our covenants may not have the force of law, but they do have the force of conscience. And I admit that sometimes I've wondered, given our theological diversity, our lack of a common creed, are the promises we make to one another as a faith community enough to hold us together through good times and bad? Because, you know, we are living through a very hard time right now. And so is this Unitarian Universalist faith muscular enough? Is it fierce enough? Is it real enough to sustain us through this hard time in the world and what may be a hard time in our personal lives? Well, based on the experiences that I've had in this faith for the last 35 years, both as a minister and actually with my life, I answer the question, yes. I do think that the covenants that we make with one another are strong enough and fierce enough and real enough to sustain us through the good times and the bad. And I know that we need one another, maybe now more than ever. We need a beloved community support us as we live our values out loud. We need the support of one another to care for one another, for those who are here in our community and those who are beyond our walls. We need support in our activism and our justice work, support in our sincere striving to create here in this community the kind of change that we want to see, the kind of change that we actually long to see in this world. I regard our strength as a kind of noble integrity. In good faith, we strive each day to wake up and do the best we can to keep our promises. And we know that all of us humans are imperfect, that we're still learning. All of us make mistakes. We may hurt one another. We may even hurt ourselves. And so when we do, may we forgive ourselves and each other. And may we begin again in love. Because love is the center of this faith. And what we need, as we recited in the responsive reading, we need love with power, and we need power with love. So I recognize that Unitarian Universalism is not an easy faith. I've heard some people call it a grown-up faith because we're not spoon-fed what to believe. And we don't all believe the same thing. So rather than being answers to some of the big questions of life, like why are we here? What is the purpose of my life? Was I born with a purpose? Instead of being given answers, we are challenged and supported as we live the questions, maybe even love the questions. And as Rainer Maria Rilke said in his letters to the young poet, perhaps someday we will live into the answers we seek. We will live into the answers we seek. Unitarian Universalism is what might be called a chosen faith. It's an examined faith that may change and evolve over time. It would never require us to believe something that our experience tells us is not true. I had a spiritual director in Boulder, Colorado, and one of the things that she told me, she had many, many ministers of other faiths in her practice, but I was her only UU minister. And one day she said, you know what I've noticed is I think you are the only minister that is my client who would never have to say something from the pulpit that they didn't believe. And it made me so sad to to realize that some of my minister colleagues may be at a point in their life when they are questioning their faith, but when they take the pulpit, they would still need to say the party line. I would never have to do that. No one here would ever have to do that. In fact, I remember one time leading a service at the congregation I served in Loveland, Colorado, and I did it with a worship associate. We also had a lay worship associate program. And after the service, this woman came running up to me, and she was clearly outraged, and she kind of sputtered. She said, "Did you know that that woman who spoke disagreed with what you said, and you are the minister?" She's not the minister. And I said, "You know what? That is so wonderful." Because we don't necessarily all believe the same thing. We are a faith that embraces diversity. What we say is that we don't need to think alike to love alike. Isn't that amazing? That's what we need. So I do realize that our diversity may create difficulty in articulating what we do believe. So that's what I wanted to spend a little bit of time on this morning. When I was a seminary student at the Starr King School for the Ministry in Berkeley, my professor in theology was Rebecca Parker, and she offered the image of Unitarian Universalist faith as a circle. So a circle has boundaries, and so there are things that are within the circle, and there are things that are outside the circle. So she told us, Unitarian Universalism is not nothing. It is something. So yes, we're open to many things, but you can't really believe just anything you want and be a Unitarian Universalist. There are limits. So here are 4 examples of what she gave as what is inside and what is outside the circle of our faith. So first, it is inside our circle to believe that there is God or that there is not a God. But it is outside the circle to believe that God is some omniscient, omnipotent, powerful being that controls everything that happens, that determines what happens in our lives, that everything happens for a reason, even the bad things. Instead, Unitarian Universalists believe that we are born with free will, that it matters what we do with our lives, that we have a choice each moment to affirm life or to destroy life. So free will is within our circle of Unitarian Universalism. And then second, it is within our circle of Unitarian Universalism to define salvation, what saves us, what we are saved from in many ways. But it is outside our circle to believe that there will ultimately be a separation between the saved and everyone else. That the saved will be saved, and after they die, they will have eternal bliss in heaven. And everyone else is going to be damned and spend the rest of eternity suffering in hell. That is outside our circle. So inside our circle is what the Unitarian Universalist calls universal salvation. All are worthy, all are welcome, all souls are of worth. Third, it is within our circle to be devoted to spiritual practices. So this could be Buddhist meditation, Christian prayer, pagan rituals. But it is outside our circle to believe that there is one religion that is the exclusive, final truth for all people in all times and all places. We believe that things are impermanent, that revelation is not sealed, and that there's a sacred impulse that calls us towards justice and compassion. So diversity and openness to change are within our circle. And then finally, you can see this world, it's within our circle, to see this world as being broken or beautiful or both. But we do not view our bodies as something profane, that our bodies are a source of corruption and earthly desires, and in contrast, our spirits are some sacred, pure thing. We do acknowledge that there's a mystery beyond our knowing, but our faith is clear that the ultimate is present right here, right now, and that this world and this time and our bodies, these bodies, are the dwelling place of the sacred. So within the circle of Unitarian Universalism, there's freedom of choice. It matters what we do with our lives, that we have control over. Universal salvation. So we sang, it's a blessing. You were born, I was born, we were born, it's a blessing. Diversity and openness to change. We sang what each of us knows about God is a piece of the truth. And that this world, this life, these bodies are the dwelling place of the sacred. So let the beauty we love be what we do. And then that final line, I used to sing this song at the end of every service when I was a minister in Loveland. And when I would walk down the aisle and look into the eyes of the people who were in my congregation, people who I knew what was going on in their lives, and we sang that last line, we don't have to do it alone. Often there were tears in the eyes of the people, and there were tears in the eyes of me as their minister. We don't have to do it alone. But you know, while our faith has this defining focus to the flourishing of all life, to a passionate life, a passionate love for this life, our diverse, spacious theology actually sets us apart. As I was describing what is outside the circle, it sets us apart from a religion that supports holy war in service of a God who is imagined to order the destruction of evildoers. It sets us apart from a religion that looks forward to the end of the world, that welcomes environmental apocalypse and war as signs that this earth is soon to pass away, so that an elite faithful can be carried by the rapture into a new heaven and a new earth. It sets us apart from a religion that says one thing and does another, from a religion that does not walk its talk, that does not have that noble integrity. So in this faith, we vow to care for the interdependent web of all existence, and with reverence and humility to recognize and take our place within it. This gives rise to some timely and powerful questions. I hope that you will take some time, maybe not here right now, but take some time maybe during your spiritual practice, if you have one, to consider what powerful questions you're living with at this moment in your life. What are you called to do? So I do want to pose one beloved question that may be familiar to you and that applies no matter what your age. We actually have a service, we'll have a service after the first of the year where people of different ages are asked to respond to this question. So you know it comes from Mary Oliver. She says, tell me what it is you plan to do with your one wild and precious life. Another way to put it is, what are your gifts? And how can you accept them with grace and gratitude and use your gifts to bless the world in the spirit of love? And for those of you who are members and friends of this congregation, I have another question for you to consider. This congregation is a time of transition. And so, what is the First Unitarian Church of Oakland called to be and to do in this challenging time? We'll be exploring this together over the next couple of years. So, in closing, I offer you these words by Kenneth Patton that I think is a beautiful answer to a question: how will we worship? Let us worship not in bowing down, not with closed eyes and stopped ears. Let us worship with the opening of all windows of our being, with the full outstretching of our spirits. Life comes with singing and laughter, with tears and confiding, with a rising wave too great to be held in the mind and heart and body, to those who have fallen in love with life. Let us worship, and let us learn to love. May it be so.
Thank you, Reverend Laurel. That was beautiful. I like the hymn, "Blessed be the tie that binds." It goes, "Blessed be the tie that binds our hearts in joyful love." The fellowship of kindred minds is like to that above. In our church, we don't always think alike, duh. But we can count on an underlying, shared belief in kindness, compassion, and justice. Because this belief seems a rare jewel in today's world, please support our church's continuance as generously as you are able. Half of our collection this month will go to the nonprofit organization who were guests last Sunday, Legal Services for Prisoners with Children, All of Us or None. And if you're here for the first time, please let the basket pass you by. Your presence is a gift to us. So ushers, would you please come forward?
So please join us for coffee hour, those of you who are here in person, and those of you at home, you can have your own little coffee hour. And again, you can chat with one another maybe for a few minutes after the service is over. But in addition to coffee hour in Venti Hall, which is over there, at noon, we will have our monthly community forum that is put on by our board. And the topic today, which I hope all of you will come, is what happens after the service. So we do have Maria Bilas, who is here representing the Community Connections, which is how we build connections among one another, and also if you're ready to join, what membership means. And also, Carol Lane will be here talking about coffee hour, which has transformed into being such a lively, wonderful time of socializing. The Coffee Hour Committee is viewing service as hospitality, as welcoming. So please come to that, and then at noon, go to the community forum to hear more about it and to give your input. And then we also have people from the All of Us or None organization that was our recipient and who you met last week. They're going to continue their card-writing statewide campaign to support hundreds of incarcerated individuals during the holiday season. So please join them. There will be more letter writing in Venti Hall to show love and solidarity to that community. And then later in the week, the LGBTQ plus Haven Working Group is having a meeting. And also the Justice Council is organizing a march for the No Kings Rally in Oakland. So Steve, do you have any details on when and where you're going to meet?
12 o'clock at the Oakland Buddhist Church, 9th and Jackson.
So 9th and Jackson at noon. Those of you who want to participate in the No Kings Rally, you can gather with other Unitarian Universalists from this congregation and other people from our community at the Buddhist Center at 9th and Jackson at noon. And then we're sorry for the overlap in scheduling, but we are going to hold in here a worship associate retreat that will be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So not only are current worship associates like Corliss invited to attend, but any of you who are interested in possibly joining this group of lay worship leaders, we would love to have you join us for that day. We'll be talking about what is worship, why do we get together every Sunday, and what's the purpose in what we do. So if you have questions about that, you can ask me or Sarah Watts, who's sitting in the second row there, is our chair of the Worship Associate Committee. So let us know if you have any questions, and again, you are welcome. So now let us go ahead and extinguish the chalice.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we come together again.